I think one thing everyone can agree on now, all Man United fans, everyone, is that Amorim is cooked. He's a dead man walking. There's no way this guy turns it around. There's just no evidence to suggest it's going to work apart from a loss against Arsenal where they played quite well for a little while. Yes, if I'm going to be entirely fair, up until Rob Sanchez's red card against Chelsea at Old Trafford, they did press well in that opening 3 minutes before he was sent off. But ultimately, they've been pony. There's a huge body of data now to illustrate how awful, record-breakingly bad Manchester United have been under current head coach Ruben Amorim. So this bread is dusted. He's going. Now, I think there's a suggestion that if they sack him before November, there's a bigger financial penalty. So perhaps Ineos, Man United are keeping their powder dry for 1 more month. Possibly. And obviously there's an international break in there as well. So, less points to drop. But so the managers are lining up, or at least they're being lined up to replace him. And look, there's a big, glaring, obvious one in Oliver Glasner who would probably make them really good and be perfect. We'll speak about that. But I also so he's the favourite, the bookie's favourite, but I also want to make a case for Gareth Southgate, which would be fun. I'd enjoy, as an opposition fan, I'd enjoy it, but there's a real good argument, genuinely actually, about why he would make sense. So I want to get into it. By the way, welcome back to Football Yannick. Try and upload every single day on the channel. You're all welcome. It's not just a Chelsea thing here. It's a general football thing. So do consider supporting by liking and subscribing. I'm going to start off with Southgate and then land this plane with Ollie Glasner. Now, look, the biggest problem, you've really got to hear me out here. And I've probably said this on different platforms before, but the biggest problem with Man United, because they've had talented managers, they've had talented players. They've even brought in the Man City sporting hierarchy in terms of Omar Barada and Denman. But the biggest problem with Man United is the culture. It's rotten to the core. It's been mutilated from a once great, relentlessly winning behemoth of a football club in England. It's now been deep within the banter era. It's make all managers that go there, turns them into sort of goons a little bit. What podcast? Was it the Football Ramble? There was a podcast I listened to so many, explaining how it turns all managers into sort of laughing stocks, like Ten Hag. He was sort of highly thought of, with Ajax doing really well in Europe, seen as this innovative, forward-thinking coach, and he became a joke, a meme at Man United. You've got Ruben Amorim, it's Man City, Chelsea, West Ham looking at for managerial appointments, doing really well in the Champions League, turning Victor Gyökeres into a superstar striker, making Sporting a force again in Portugal, winning titles with them. Really, in his late 30s, he's young, he's innovative, he's quite cool, he's good looking. And then him in the rain at Old Trafford playing with the little magnets thing, he's become the biggest meme ever. He can't look at his team and they're taking penalties. And he's turned from this quite cool sort of young, innovative, progressive manager to this peculiar sort of little recoiling little figure on the... But you know what I mean? It's like some sort of virus that's got into him. Anyway, I'm sort of jumping around here a little bit. But it's the culture. Now, enter Gareth Southgate. Am I saying he's this innovative, forward-thinking, progressive, tactical manager that could win the Premier League or even do really well in terms of results? No idea / probably not. But Sir Gareth Southgate, why he was been knighted is, and this is no small feat, it's massive. And it's massive, the job at Man United for this. So what he did with England, Southgate, he completely changed the narrative and the culture. He made English players want to play for England again. He stopped the witch hunt the tabloid media just hunting down everyone with England, like, that sort of was from the, the noughties, 90s, noughties, 2010s. He opened up the media to play like table tennis with the players, and made them all made friends, changed the culture, explained to the players, this is what it means to play for your country. This is the top thing. And suddenly everyone wanted to play for England again. Suddenly the media witch hunt stopped. And suddenly there was this good feeling of Gareth Southgate's England, to the point there's like a Broadway West End show about it. Do you know what I mean? You can have your own opinions about that. It's of course silly, but it's just testament to what he did. That is his legacy. Southgate isn't necessarily a good/great football manager, but his body of work with England is so great. Like, I've got my own reservations about Tuchel's England. That's a whole other video. But what he did do that was great, that has to be respected, was how he was transformative for the culture, for a rotten culture. I know it was at international club level, but it was rotten in many ways, where certain players didn't want to get called up and go. They were frightened of judgment. There was cliques in the dressing room. Of course, you used to have the Liverpool boys, the Man United and Chelsea boys. They used to sit on their own tables and not mingle. That's all gone. Now it's a collective. It's a sort of a pride. It's a I want to play for England. That's on Gareth Southgate. So you try and transmute that, fixing that broken culture and toxicity on a national scale, literally. But you could say if that's got to be bigger than the Man United thing. No, it's not. The Man United problem is just as big, in its own way. But for me, that's why, if you hired him, you'd fix it. I was chatting to my mate, my old flatmate, about how he'd fix it. Two of my old flatmates from different places, both support Man United. I've spoken to them about this, and I just made the case. I said, look, this is maybe it. Or, of course, the favourite is Oliver Glasner. Literally just chatting to my friend who's a Palace fan. Not very happy about that at all, but there's a sign of a sort of inevitability to it. Of course, Glasner, not overly happy with Guehi nearly going. And of course, I'll understand Eze and Denman going, that he'll probably think, I don't want to constantly lose my good players. He would have had something similar when he managed Frankfurt. But Man United is the opportunity. Everyone wants the job. Mourinho always wanted that job, and he was one of the hottest managers in town or whatever, or for a long time. It's almost like everyone thinks they can fix it, It's Manchester. Let's be fair. I know they've been a banter club for a while. They're the biggest club in England. They've just recorded record profits and revenue, and you'll get paid a lot. You've got a massive devoted fan base, and of course at the moment they do have good players. Some they're still missing, but they've sort of half built for the 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1 system, which of course Oli Glasner plays, so he will be able to adopt that. The issue is, he plays a reactive style of football with that back three system. The opposition is the ball, we react. That's how we beat Liverpool. That's how we beat, Man City. It's how we don't lose to Chelsea. We play in this way. Now, when you're Man United, you're expected to dominate, have the ball. How would he do that? He's seemingly a great coach, Glasner, and presumably he could do that. I'm not suggesting he can't, but it's going to be very different. But actually, the reality is, Man United have been so bad that maybe they need the humility to be that reactive side. And, they're near top of the table at the moment, Palace. They're the FA Cup holders. Man United would be very, very happy with that, no matter how they play. Yeah, I think Oli Glasner is probably going to take the Man United job. But I wanted to make a case for Sir Gareth Southgate. If I was a Man United fan, I'd recoil at the sound, but I just wanted to show my working and explain there kind of is a method behind the madness. But let me know your thoughts. Please do leave them in the comment section. As always, thank you for liking and subscribing, and I hope to see you back here soon. Peace.